Welcome to Fringe Fanatics with Chad Lee and Chris Zane.
And we are back live and in the flesh. It is Fringe Fanatics. We are here. I am Chris Zane.
And I am Chad Lee. Thanks for tuning in. I'm back in person.
Yes, he's not on the phone. You can see his lovely face and his new lovely shirt and his new lovely pennant.
Yep.
And this ugly fucking bottle right here. Ugh.
That's last year's championship bottle. I got to get a new one.
Well,
my birthday's coming up soon, Chris. Just a little hint.
No, I don't think so.
Yep. Well, we are back, man. So we took a couple weeks off. Maybe it was 3. I can't really remember.
It was 2. Technically, you almost had 3 weeks off.
Yeah, it was kind of wild, but it feels good to be back. It is crazy to be doing this again, but we're never gonna stop.
Can't stop, won't stop. Get it.
Never gonna
Can't
stop.
Won't stop.
Never gonna stop. So, we are gonna do episode 73 and salute that number to
Mr. Larry Allen, guard for the Cowboys, primarily played for the Cowboys for the 14 seasons he was in the NFL. He played college football for the Butte Roadrunners and the Sonoma State Cossacks. I'm not entirely sure.
If anybody out there knows what a Cossack is,
please comment below.
Yeah, I feel like it might be R-rated. But we'll see.
Maybe. He was selected by the Cowboys in the second round of the 1994 NFL Draft. He is regarded as one of the NFL's physically strongest players ever, while also capable of using his speed against defenders. Like I mentioned earlier, he spent 12 seasons with the Cowboys. He earned 10 Pro Bowl selections, 7 first-team All-Pro honors. His 10 Pro Bowl selections are the most for a Cowboys offensive player. He was also part of the team that won a Super Bowl title in Super Bowl 30 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. He did play the final 2 seasons of his career with the San Francisco 49ers, where he received his 11th Pro Bowl selection, and he was eventually inducted into the Pro Bowl Football Hall of Fame in 2013.
Dude was a beast, man.
He really was.
He was huge, and he was vital to Emmitt Smith getting all those yards and those Super Bowls that the Cowboys got.
Yeah, definitely. What else? Let's see here. He's also one of the few players to actually be on the 2 all-decade teams in the 90s and the 2000s. He's also on the 100th anniversary all-time team. So this guy's racked up the accolades over his career. So hats off to him.
Yeah.
Good job,
probably
man.
Maybe one of the best offensive linemen in history. That is definitely an accurate statement, I would say.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, let's roll right along, and I need to know, Chris, how was your weekend?
My weekend was fairly busy. Me and Meryl, I'm helping her. Her and her mom are helping our real estate agent that sold us our house. Her name's Rose. They're flipping a house. They're like buying it, redoing it, and inside of the house was a whole bunch of stuff that basically was sold with the house. So we acquired 2 new project vehicles out of it, which was cool. Got the old 1964 GMC handy van, the new boogie van, the OG boogie van.
Boogie van 2.0.
Yeah,
nice.
Or 1.0.
Yeah, it's a little smaller.
Yeah, and then we ended up with an RV, which is pretty sweet. It's like a 2003 little Tiger Astrovan pop-up RV.
That's so wild.
So yeah, last weekend, not this one, the one before, Jason, my buddy, who we've talked about on the podcast, races dirt bikes, he came and helped me load that 64 on a trailer, and then everybody followed me as I drove the RV all the way to Hudson from Louisville.
Yeah, that's a long way. Yeah. Nice.
And then this weekend we were finishing cleaning out stuff. We got to go through and like find out what everything's kind of worth and start selling stuff. We did find a bunch of like old cameras and shit. Some of them are worth like, a couple $100.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, there's a lot of people that collect like cameras and like the old school ones.
There was an old vintage fan from like the 60s.
Oh, wow.
Which thanks to American Pickers, I would never have known this, but there's a really huge market for old school vintage fans.
That is just,
And yeah, dude,
there's a niche for everything.
yeah,
man.
it's crazy.
I love watching that show. Dude, they went to Parsons one time.
That's what I told Meryl, and her mom was like, honestly, if Chris wasn't there, we wouldn't have known half of the shit was worth anything. Yeah. Dude, we found a fucking World War I German fucking into the gun. Yeah, fucking
the spear thing on
yes.
it. Why can't I think of it? Oh man, it's gonna bug me. But
God,
man, I know it's on the tip of my fucking tongue too.
Oh, so it's a like World War I German, bayonet.
Good job,
nice. Bayonet,
good call.
Dude, that was gonna drive me nuts. So like a World War I bayonet.
That's definitely worth some money.
Got to be worth at least a couple.
Do you know
$100.
It's from the Nazi side or ours?
Well, it's definitely German. So
I see.
But that was before they were like Nazis.
Okay,
you know, they weren't really.
They were still the bad guys.
They're still the bad guys.
Sure.
They still tried to take over the world technically.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was pretty cool. Then I was telling Chad earlier, I got a lock picking kit because there was a couple like locks that were locked in there on like a filing cabinet. It's the funny story is Meryl and them told me that it was locked, and so I got my lock picking kit and I was like, I'm gonna fucking open this thing, and I picked it and turned it. And then I went to open it, and I was like, guys, it was unlocked the whole time. So I actually picked it. I picked it locked. And then today I went over there and picked it open.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
dude, that's one hell of a skill to have, man.
Yeah, so now if this doesn't work out, I'm going to be a cat burglar.
Yeah, you definitely. You got to get like some really tight, all black attire.
Yeah.
And just like, be the new Catwoman.
Yeah. So that's probably my plan. I'm hoping the tight attire will help with my back problems because I've been dealing with that. I'm pretty sure this all stems from when I fell on the ice trying to fix my fence last week.
Oh, probably.
Ever since then, I felt wrong. Dude, I think there's something wrong with my collarbone. It's not broken, but I didn't really think about it. Your collarbone has like joints kind of.
Oh, yeah.
I think I have an injury on that part. Like right
so.
Here. Oh, dude, it hurts.
Dude, getting
there's
old
a crunchy
sucks,
thing. There's a crunchy sound in there now.
Oh, that's not good.
So I was like, I don't know. I think
just
I fucked
grinding
myself
shit up in there.
Yeah, so I missed work today. I'm fucking bummed, but
I'll
be able to go the rest of the week now, though, at least, because I was going to be fucked up today if I went.
Oh yeah, you never want to try to lift stuff when your back's hurting.
That's the only thing that sucks. Is like there's no way around it. When I explained to Meryl what we do, she's like, "Well, you have to pick up like 80-pound bags of cement," and I was like, "Yeah."
And not just once.
Yeah.
Like
I was like, sometimes people will come in and they'll be like, I only want 25. And it's like, I have to take a whole pallet and take the fucking, I got to take all those off to get to 25 out of the 42. And that's,
that's just what you do.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It's
She
wild.
was like, that's
it's
crazy that they expect you to do that. And I was like, yeah,
it's
that's
just,
life.
Yeah, well, it kind of falls into when I try to like tell people what we do. It's just easier to tell them like, oh, it's like in the construction type business. We're like the middleman where we sell supplies to it. So
I say that we're glorified shoppers for construction workers.
Pretty much,
personal shoppers.
You can go to Home Depot and be like, I need this, like a business could, like a construction business, and they'll go pick it for you and all that. But like,
we are the pickers.
We are the pickers.
So
damn right.
I pick things at work. I now pick locks. I'm a part-time American picker on the side.
I was going to say,
now.
you're definitely an American picker.
I'm picking cubed.
You are here in America. It's fucking awesome.
But yeah,
man.
so that's my weekend. I did have a lot of plans to get more things done on the podcast, but I did find a lot of stuff out. I'll tell you about it right now. So in After Effects, I'm going to do a bunch of cool shit with lightning on our how we have the lightning bolts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have lightning bolts like come from those and like go around the logo and shit. Like
That's
from
badass.
what I've seen, I watched a whole bunch of tutorials till I found out that my laptop can't run it. I was like ready to go, but this weekend I'm gonna come over here and do it and get it all ready to go.
That sounds good, man. Maybe you watch the fights after that too.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'll
for
do.
that.
Because when do those start? That's here, right?
Yeah, it's in Miami, but it still starts at the regular time, so 8 o'clock from the main card.
Oh, nice. So it's gonna be like 12 Miami time, or no, it'd be earlier then, huh?
Yeah.
I forget how time works.
Yeah, dude. When I watched that UFC pay-per-view when I was back in Missouri, it is tough, dude. We are really in the best time zone
right in the
for
middle.
watching stuff because the main card started at 9. And so I was like falling asleep when the main event happened, and it is just so tough because my buddies in Florida, it would be 10 o'clock when the main card starts for them.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, it would suck, and it'd just be like watching like basketball games and stuff that start at like 8 o'clock here.
All the time,
like
man.
10 o'clock.
It
sucks so bad.
Mountain time zone is the best.
Yeah, it really is. Right in the middle.
Oh yeah.
Right in the middle where we belong.
Well, before I get into my weekend, I just we want to give you guys just a little bit of a preview. This is a special episode. We're having on a special guest.
Yeah.
Farzin VOUSOUGHIAN, right? VOUSOUGHIAN?
Farzin VOUSOUGHIAN.
Yes. We apologize if we didn't get exactly right, but we will.
Farzin VOUSOUGHIAN.
Chiefs insider, a guy that I've been following for a couple of years. We're really excited to talk to him, and we're going to get a little bit of inside information on what the Chiefs are doing, and then he'll preview. He's also a big follower of the UFC, so he'll give us his preview of the picks for this weekend's stacked card. It is from sometimes when there's these UFC pay-per-views, I may skip the first couple of fights on the main card so I can hang out with the lady and negotiate a little bit. This time, I told her, I said, Friday night, how about I take you to an Italian restaurant? Because Saturday, I'm occupied from 8 o'clock on.
Occupado.
Yep, every single fight on the main card, even a few in the prelims are can't-miss fights, so it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, too. We're going to see some a title defense.
Yeah.
Sugar Sean's first.
Yeah. Definitely.
So he's wearing pink draws.
I saw that. He got his pink shorts.
That.
Yeah. It's probably going to piss off a lot of different UFC fans.
Like the different ones, you know?
Yeah. Lots of diverse UFC fans.
Yeah. Well, how was your weekend? Sore? Sure?
Yeah. I was a little sore after we played some beer pong and Hannah beat me again. Yeah, we practiced.
You were sore from it?
Yeah, because it was just my fucking ego was sore.
Oh, I thought you meant like your elbow. Like, I got like tennis elbow, dude. It's real bad.
No, we actually play like best of 7. So
okay.
it's the games go kind of quick, and so we can't just like finish off one. So we'll do best of 7. And I got up 2 games, and then I thought, all right, I'm finally gonna beat her. And then sure enough, she just, like the Nuggets, goes on through and wins 4 straight.
Can't leave them hanging on, dude. Yeah. If there's 5 minutes left and they're nipping at your heels, they're gonna nip them off.
Yeah, that is a good time. We throw on some music, we have some drinks, played a little beer pong, and then Saturday and earlier that day we kind of like you did some organizing, shit like that. We finally, because when we moved in, we really hadn't touched our garage at all as far as like organization, and it was bothering the hell out of us. So kind of boring, but now it looks a lot better. Got that all taken care of.
Oh yeah,
nice productive weekend, but
that's good.
Yeah, nothing too special.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, I made a steak on Sunday night, though. I even had to flaunt it on my IG. I even put on there, I was like, follow me for more tips, because perfect, man. I finally started using a charcoal chimney. That's the key, dude. I don't know why it took me so long to buy one, but like when I finally used it, it's like all of the coals finally got hot evenly. I feel like a fucking noob, but that made all the difference in the world.
Dude. Charcoal chimney is where it's at.
Temperature control, man. You gotta
have a flue.
Account. Yeah,
isn't that what it's called? Or the thing in chimneys that you can adjust it, the flue.
Maybe that. I'm sure that's probably it, but I don't know. Yeah,
I haven't really had a real chimney in forever.
Yeah, we had a chimney at our last place, but it was like a gas fireplace, so there wasn't much of a chimney. It was kind of strange because when it would rain really hard, you would hear it. Like on the tin.
Oh, on top, yeah.
It's kind of annoying, but we don't have to worry about that now.
That's cool. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, thanks, man. We're moving on up.
It was exciting this weekend, though, watching the Nuggets.
That was great, man.
Beat the Lakers.
That was fantastic.
For the 8th straight time.
8th straight time. I mean, you've got to realize that, the Lakers have got to realize that they might need to go ahead and have a paternity test done.
Yeah, because they got a new daddy.
They've had a daddy for like the last 2 years, pretty much, man.
It's nice because I've watched them be the Nuggets daddy for a very long time. So for the Nuggets finally to be,
to the Warriors too, man. Like we could not get over the Warriors for the longest time, and now we're starting to beat the Warriors. And I mean, the Nuggets are playing real good ball.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it a little later.
Yeah, we definitely will. But it's that time that we take the leadoff shot.
I think it is, man.
We're a little ahead of schedule, though.
Yeah.
Should we rail off some headlines and then call
I was
Farzin?
thinking, one good headline we could hit that kind of starts off this great Fringe Fanatics theme. Where
before we get into it, we'll hit the headline button, but let's take this shot first.
We will take the shot, but you know what I want to hear is that amazing Alaskan sled dog race. I think you should cover that.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that since it's kind of in between things.
Yeah, a little curveball from the other ones. Well, Chris.
Yes.
It's good to be back.
Good to have you back. Good to
Thank
see you in person.
Yeah, thanks for taking
Good
care
to
of the
sit
house while we were
across.
gone.
Yeah, I
The
did a
plants are
whole
doing
lot.
well.
Watered all those plants, dude.
Yeah, I know you. I have cameras around. I knew you stripped down in your underwear. And
I
you ran
was
around.
naked in here for a little bit.
I saw you pulling the Tom Cruise, like
Yeah.
sliding across the floor. But hey, your socks cleaned the floor, so I wasn't too mad.
Off the shelf. I wore my fuzziest ones.
Yeah.
Both for the static and for the ability to pick up the most amount of dust.
Oh, dude, the floors were spotless.
Yeah.
I was like, how did he do this?
I did the Tom Cruise thing over basically all of the floors downstairs.
Yeah.
Just starting that, and then I'd slide, and then I'd do it again,
Nice.
and then another slide.
You remember when we were going to Tokyo Joe's? I went as that that character, Tom Cruise from Risky Business.
Oh yeah, that's
as,
right.
Yeah, for Halloween, dude. I went in October, shirt, no pants, just underwear underneath, and it was a cold fucking night, man.
One time we went as babies, me,
Oh
Andrew, and our buddy Dustin, and we literally wore adult diapers.
Oh my god.
And that was it. Oh, and bonnets.
The weird thing is there's some people that are into that. They like
Oh, I know.
babies.
Yeah, like they want someone to take care of them.
Yeah.
But I was so self-conscious about being a nothing but
I bet.
because I mean, I'm chubby, it's just when you're only in a diaper, there's nothing really to hide.
Yeah. There's no one getting around it.
I blacked out before the first party. I think we went to 3 parties that night, but I don't remember the last 2.
The big question is, did you take advantage of the diaper?
I don't think I did.
I hope not.
No,
That
but
would've
once someone broke into my car shortly after that, and there was a bunch of diapers in there that I had, and they're like, this person's, because they stole my wallet, so they got my license, and they're like, why does this 20-year-old have all these diapers in here?
Yeah, that is kind of strange.
So I was kind of like, it's a bummer they took my wallet, but those people probably had a lot of thinking to do afterwards.
Yeah, like,
So,
what do I want to take? Yeah. Yeah, who knows?
Anyways.
But good times, dude.
Yeah, anyways, good times, great oldies.
That's right.
Here's
Good
to
to be back.
Halloween and being back.
Cheers to you guys.
Hopefully this booze will help my back.
Yeah, it'll hit the nerves.
Or just dub them up until I get home.
Never really used wine as a chaser, but we're going to try this out.
It's good because it's got fruits.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And
There's fruits in it.
it does, it tastes like victory.
It's healthy.
Oh, God.
Yep.
That is good. That is good. That tastes like an OT win.
Oh,
All right.
yeah. So.
Well, let's hear about that race because I can't. You told it to me like 3 minutes ago, and I've already forgotten the name of the race. It's like in Tanaco.
when I said it to him, he looked at me like I was insane.
What
and I
are
was
you
like,
talking about?
I feel like everybody knows about this race.
I know the race, but I always forget the name. But it's like 3,500 miles, right?
No, it's not that long. I'll tell you here. Let me hit this headline real
Get
quick.
after it. Get after it.
Headlines! Get your headlines here!
That's right. It's time for some headlines briefly before we have our first big guest on. But right now, I don't have a sound for what I'm about to talk about, but I guess we go, mush, mush, mush. I think that's what they say.
Balto.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about
It's
that
epic,
movie.
dude. I love that
yeah.
movie. Did you ever see Togo with
No.
fucking not William H. Macy. Is it William H.? William Dafoe. William Dafoe had this like husky, and he was a sled. Dude, it's an excellent movie. It's on Disney Plus.
Oh.
It's kind of all about that shit.
I thought you were going to talk about the one with Cuba Gooding Jr.
No, that's ridiculous. Or the one with Paul Walker, 8 Below.
Oh,
8
yeah.
Below.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Anyways.
crazy a lot of snow dog race.
But the IDITAROD is happening. It started, I believe it was on Sunday. But needless to say, there's a big story coming out about the IDITAROD. If those of you don't know, it is the longest dog sled race ever. I mean, it's like the longest one.
Yeah.
It's always usually like crazy. These guys have to go through insane like blizzards, freezing weather. They have to camp out the whole time. Like it's a nonstop. There are a few like checkpoints along the way where they can like resupply and stuff, but it's a very grueling long race where they all have, like these teams of like 12 dogs. But Dallas Seaver, who has won the Iditarod 5 times now, actually had to kill a moose with his handgun, which the fact he was able to kill a moose with a handgun is pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, it'd been a headshot or something.
I don't know, but he was going along, and the moose came across the trail, and I guess a couple other racers, Iditaroders, I don't know what you call them.
Yeah. That's a good word for it.
Iditarodder.
Iditarodder.
And a couple other Iditaroders had already warned officials about this moose, that it had been hanging around the trail, and it came across him and his dogs and got tangled up in all of the cabling, whatever they use, whatever you call it, the harnesses.
Yeah, harnesses.
Ends up severely injuring one of his dogs. He ends up shooting it and kills it. But as part of Rule 34, I don't know how many rules there are in total, but this is Rule 34, which makes me think there's a lot of other crazy rules. This is the 34th rule. If you kill a big game animal that is edible, before continuing on, you have to gut the animal and basically prep it and leave it for them to come and retrieve it. And then, as far as what I understand, they usually take that and give it out to like the lower income people who need like food and stuff around in Alaska, because this is in Alaska. But his dog Falou, which I think that's how you pronounce it, was in critical condition after undergoing surgery today. So hopefully the dog pulls through. But nonetheless, this is just a crazy story. It'd be so wild to have to take out a moose, have your dog get all messed up, and then be like, oh shit, now I have to gut this moose, and then keep on keeping on the Iditarod.
Yeah, you got to kill a moose, gut it, prep it, then take off to have your dogs pull you another 1,000 miles or so.
It's 1,510 kilometers.
So a kilometer is more than a mile.
It's
right?
938 miles.
Yeah, that is a lot.
I guess miles are technically longer than kilometers.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that's a long ass race.
Yeah, up there in Alaska too, where you're freezing your fucking balls off. Like, goddamn, man, this is not like I've heard about this race. They even talk about it on NPR sometimes when I listen to it and cover like who won and everything. And dude, it's just grueling.
Yeah, it really is. So it travels from Anchorage to Nome, Alaska. It starts in early March. The mushers and a team of 12 and 16 dogs. I guess you get your pick. Of which at least 5 must be on the tow line at the finish line. So I guess these people lose dogs along the way pretty regularly.
Oh my God.
You got to have 5 left when you cross the finish line.
Jesus.
They got to cover the distance in 8 to 15 days or more, depending on the conditions. The Iditarod began in 1973 as an event to test the best dog sled mushers and teams, but evolved into today's highly competitive race. Teams often race through blizzards causing whiteout conditions, sub-zero temperatures, and gale force winds, which can cause the wind chill to reach minus 100 degrees Fahrenheit, dude.
What?
That is insane.
That's
a
saying,
ceremony.
I've really thought about it. That this is like got to be one of the toughest sports races there is. I mean, you can't really name one that's tougher. I mean, there's ultra marathons where like humans, they run like 220 miles, but I mean, I think cold is harder than anything.
Yeah, it really is. Once you get cold, it's hard to get warm again, dude.
Yeah. Frostbite, shit falling off.
Yeah, your toes turning black.
Poor dogs, man. This sucks. But, I mean, that's what they use them for up there. But I think this all stems from when they made a race, kind of like what we were talking about with Balto, where they used to have to, take medicine back and forth. I think that's what it all stemmed from.
Oh yeah, they were had to actually move supplies between the areas. That might have been what it was initially started as, or at least that's what the mushing and stuff started as. But
pretty wild, hell of a story.
Yeah, insane. Pretty wild indeed.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you bringing that up, man. I think we're ready to call Farzin. What do you think?
Let's do it. Let's give him a call, man.
Let's
see what happens.
I'm interested to see how it goes.
As am I. All right, let's hope he answers on the first one.
Yeah, we'll see.
Give us a second while you hear some funny ringing.
That was funny.
The Google subscriber you have called is not available. Please leave a message after the tone.
Whoa,
It was loud. All right. Let me see if that was the right number first, because I could have put it in wrong. There's a first time for everything.
91380. I guess we probably should.
Yeah. That's it, right?
Yeah. I'll message him and let him know we're calling now. All right, but
let's try one more time. See if I just put it in wrong or something. It's possible.
Right.
Oh no, it's the right one.
do you need to put 1 in front of it or anything?
Maybe.
The Google subscriber.
That's weird.
That is weird. Well, while we wait for him, we'll go ahead and continue on with headlines. We'll just start with the NFL, I guess.
Yeah.
And we'll hopefully we hear from him before we get through them. But in the
All right, well, the first NFL headline. Oh, yeah, you got to hit it. There we go.
Personal foul. 69.
It's been 2 weeks. We got to hear it.
He was giving them the business.
That's right, and we are giving you the business of football, and we are starting out with some sad news, as we must give our condolences and a big RIP to Chris Mortensen, award-winning ESPN reporter who covered the NFL for over 4 decades, 32 of those as a senior analyst at ESPN, passed away on Sunday morning. He was 72 years old. No immediate word on like what the cause or where he was even at, but big hit to the sports world just in terms of covering sports. This guy has been a perennial, basically all-star.
Yeah, he was
since coming in.
One of the first newspaper writers to go over to TV. He went to ESPN. He started out as an investigative journalist, and then it's pretty amazing because any somewhat familiar, if you're even halfway into football and really tuned into it, then you know of Adam Schefter. Well, yeah. Adam Schefter was pretty much Mortensen's protege. Schefter worked really close under him. Same with Daniel Jeremiah. There was a lot of people that kind of learned from him. And over the last few years, he did battle throat cancer, and then he beat it, and then it unfortunately came back. But I mean, he was a pillar in sports journalism. Yeah,
and it's sad, and now we've lost pretty much all of the main guys we grew up watching on ESPN.
Yeah, Stuart Scott.
Stuart Scott. There was now Chris Mortensen. There was
John Clayton.
John Clayton, yeah. And then also, who's the other one now? I'm going to feel bad. I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, hats off. Farzin has gotten back to me, so we're going to try to call him one more time. But just one more time, rest in peace, Chris Mortensen. As Chris and I, a couple super amateur guys that follow sports and try to cover it, he was an inspiration, and everything that he kind of paved the way for. It's one of the reasons why we do this.
Yeah, we could only hope to achieve just an ounce of what he did in his career. So, big ups to him. Salute.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, let's give this one more try.
Let's give this a try. Calling.
The Google subscriber you have called is not available. Please leave a message after the tone.
Should we try it the old school way?
I'm wondering about that. He says, I'm guessing my Google Voice number is not set to receiving incoming calls.
Oh, yeah, you got to put it to that. You gave him ours, 72.
Yeah, he noticed that. He said, is the 720 number you?
Yeah. Tell him to give us a call. We can receive him, I think. We've never gotten a call.
That's true.
Oh, no, we did once, I think. Oh, no, never mind. No, we didn't. I lied. That was somebody.
I just told him he could call us.
Dude, tell him to call us.
Let's see.
And while we wait, we'll enjoy our time together. You know? Because we don't get to do that
We're
often.
just gonna look
just lock eyes and
into
just stare into
each
each other's
other's
souls.
Cross-eyed.
Come on, Farzin, VOUSOUGHIAN.
Yeah, he's going to call us from his personal number, so it'll come up as unknown.
All right. Cool.
All right. Sorry about this, guys. This is
This is what happens when you're
new.
live.
Yeah, this is new. We don't edit anything.
No, you'll hear all of this if you listen to the actual podcast because I don't take anything out.
No.
This is all content as far as I'm concerned.
Unfiltered.
Unfiltered, uncensored,
Organic.
grass-fed.
All right. This Chiefs insider, though.
Oh, here we go.
All right, let's go.
All right. Oh. Weird.
Call from.
Farzin.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Oh, whoa, we got to accept your call.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, thanks for calling us, man. I'm glad we got that figured out. Sorry about that.
Good old
Yeah, absolutely. What's going on?
Not much. We're real happy to have you on, Farzin, and thanks a lot for coming on. I am the Chiefs fan. My name's Chad. I've been following you for the past couple of years, and I just want to say, I respect a lot of the content that you put out there and all the I feel like I don't know how you do it. I wanted to pick your brain and find out how you're able to get the news on the Chiefs almost before I see it from Chef to you or anything else, man. But yeah, you're right on top of it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the kind words, and I appreciate you guys having me. Yeah, a lot of it's just kind of like staying up to date. I know a lot of guys have notifications on for Twitter and such. I could not do that because I would honestly lose my mind with the amount of times my phone. Because, I'm not the kind of guy that gets a lot of calls and emails. So I always try to keep my phone as quiet as possible, even though I'm on it often.
Good call.
So that's kind of how I stay on top of that's how I try to stay on top of all the news.
That's cool, man. I'm Chris. I'm the Broncos fan, unfortunately. I've had to bow down and now accept that we are dealing with a dynasty. As much as it pains me to say that, I have now accepted it. This last Super Bowl just made it all that much easier to be like, okay, it is what it is. And meanwhile, we're blowing up our whole team. But I did want to ask, I know you host the Chiefs Zone podcast and you have the FARZ cast. What else do you have going on in terms of just your whole
Content,
your resume, if you will?
Yeah, the only other thing I really do that's not an actual podcast is a Red Friday live chat. I try to do that each and every single Red Friday on my Facebook page, basically talking Chiefs. But if people want, we've gotten off topic many times. We've talked other NFL teams. We've talked about barbecue. We've talked about movies, video games. So the Red Friday live chat's kind of fun, and that's the one I use to interact with my followers the most. Whatever question they ask, I'll respond, and we just basically chat it up and talk whatever comes up. So yeah, you mentioned Farzcast. That's my other podcast that I do, and that's kind of the one podcast I do where I don't talk about the Chiefs as often. So yeah, those are the things that I do.
Nice. So you've just kind of got your whole conglomerate there, all your avenues to talk about everything. Nice. I like it.
Well, before we kind of start asking a few questions, I do want to give you props. Like I said, I've been following you for a minute, and I just got to give you some credit because you predicted that the Chiefs would win the Super Bowl. I saw a picture from when you went to Vegas, and you said, I think it was in exactly 367 days, the Chiefs will win a Super Bowl here. And then there's another prediction you got correct where it was when Tommy Townsend signed Drew Rosenhaus as his new agent, and you said, I would not be surprised if next year we're looking at getting another punter. So you're on top of this stuff, man.
I appreciate that. Listen, it just kind of comes from, I think the more you watch football and if you follow specific patterns, and I'm not talking about, winning streaks against a certain team, that kind of thing. I'm talking about certain actions and moves that teams make and players do and whatnot, you just pick up on that stuff. Like, and the reason I kind of saw the whole Tommy Townsend thing coming is because Drew Rosenhaus has not really had the greatest relationship with Brett Veach. If you guys recall, Tyreek Hill got traded, and Drew Rosenhaus had a big hand in that. And listen, props to Drew Rosenhaus and Tyreek Hill. That's what an agent is supposed to do, is to give your client top dollar, and that's exactly what Tyreek Hill wanted. And listen, I think at the end of the day, Tommy Townsend's great, especially this year with the holding and the field goal operations. But at the end of the day, especially when you have some things you have to address with your offense and with the tight cap room you have, even with this increase, not that we knew this at the time, but it just doesn't make sense to pay top dollar to a punter if you're the Chiefs.
Especially when you can go snag the punt god,
Yeah.
Which is a hell of a steal as far as I'm concerned. If you remember when he got drafted, everybody was like, this guy is insane in terms of punting, which is, how much do you really want to go into punting? But still.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even realize that he was a field goal kicker in college, too. So now we got Justin Reed can kind of relieve his duties as backup kicker, too.
Yeah, I saw Justin Reed just kind of jokingly respond to that.
Yeah.
But no, listen, I know we never talk about punters on like sports radio, podcasts, and all these things, but like if the Chiefs ever have to punt from their own 5 or anything like that, that can seriously change the direction of a football game. Like, you're going to give your defense some comfortable breathing room if you can keep doing those 80-yard punts. And I trust that he's been working out, being active and whatnot. So I oddly enough, like while the Chiefs are on the verge of like trying to three-peat, we're over here thinking about how exciting the punting game is going to be. Think about that.
Well, that's what that's how it is when you're spoiled. You can just be like, the punter, man.
Yeah.
Oh God, how are we gonna fix that when everything else is, I mean, you guys still need some wide receiver help, but we'll see what you guys do there in the draft and everything. But real quick though, I did want to ask you in terms of, because now I'm worried about this with the rumors now swirling with Chris Jones and the Raiders. How close are the Chiefs and Chris Jones, do you think, on actually reaching a deal?
That's a really good question. I don't know. We've heard so many times last summer about how the Chiefs are optimistic that they'll get a deal done, and yeah, they eventually got it done, but it was into the regular season right before week 2. So, and listen, I mean, what do you expect? Of course, the Chiefs are going, whenever they get contacted by these insiders, they're going to try to be optimistic. They're not going to try to show their hand, especially when you're the world champs and people want to knock you off your pedestal here. Yeah, I don't really know exactly what's going to happen with this whole Chris Jones situation. To be honest, a lot of people actually said, you were telling me that I seem to be accurate with my predictions. Well, there are times where I'm wrong. The Chris Jones thing, I thought the Chiefs would actually tag Chris Jones and not L'Jarius Sneed. If the Chiefs tagged Sneed before Jones, not that you can tag 2 people, but if they chose him over Jones, it kind of tells me that contract negotiations might be going better than expected with Chris Jones. So
see, that's what
we're hearing a lot of rumors. It's just, yeah. Here's the thing that kind of scares me is the Katz brothers. They don't have a lot of experience doing what they do. And if you look at their list of clients, they don't have that big of a resume here. Mm-hmm. They're trying to get Chris Jones top dollar so that way they can start adding to their resume.
Yeah.
I don't really know how that's going to work out. That's one of those things where it's like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with it right now. I've kind of heard pretty much along the lines of the same thing. I have heard optimism as far as that negotiations are going a lot smoother than they were last year. I mean, like you said, it bled into all the way into the season. And I think that what they're trying to do, I mean, they've clearly made priority Chris Jones. But that leads me into my next question. What about Sneed? They gave him the option to permission to seek a trade if, something works out better. Have you heard anything on if he'll play under the tag or what the news is with that?
Yeah, we're not really sure. I mean, he's under that franchise tag. It's very close to $20 million. It's a lot of money, even just for 1 year. But the franchise tag always has that negative connotation. No player wants it. Even Chris Jones kind of addressed this back in 2020 when he got hit with the franchise tag after the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54. So it's always hard to project what exactly is going to happen. Players never want to play under the franchise tag. They want long-term deals. And there was a report out there that Snead does want a 3 to 4 year deal in Kansas City. Yeah. And you got to understand one thing about L'Jarius Snead. We see this a lot with players, and the Chiefs have drafted very well over the last few years. L'Jarius Snead was taken in the 4th round. Mm-hmm. So this is someone who hasn't made a lot of money and has played very well for a 4th round pick. So he absolutely wants to hit the bank here and get the most amount of money possible. And listen, if he hits bank, and let's just say in Detroit, because those are one of the teams rumored to get him.
Yeah.
If he never wins another Super Bowl, well, so be it. He already has 2 Super Bowl rings, another Super Bowl appearance to go with it, and he can go out there and make $20-some million. So, these players, as much as they love championships, a lot of them want the money. They want to take care of their family and then take care of their kids and so on.
Generational wealth.
Yeah, it's hard to blame him. You can't really fault him for that. That's definitely a good point. I could see the Lions. I've heard like the Eagles really could use some help there. It'd be tough to see him go. I really like the guy. It's pretty cool because he just seems so humble. He'll get really chippy with some of the players out there. Like, I love his banter. I think that's an understatement for it, really. But his rivalry with Jamar Chase, I just love how he's not afraid to get up in these guys' faces and never really pushes it too far. He'll get a flag every now and then, just kind of for jaw and stuff. But you saw it with like the Ravens. It was Zay Flowers, he's really good at keeping a cool head sometimes.
Well, I mean, he was basically a top corner in the league. Two interceptions, 14 passes defensed, and every week he was locking down each team's number one, no matter who it was.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he does want, a decent paycheck this time around.
Yeah, he did not allow a touchdown. You mentioned the numbers right there. Those aren't like the most eye-glowing numbers for a cornerback, because you always think about the interceptions and being able to force turnovers there. But if you're not able to do that, which the Chiefs weren't really good at this year, well, don't let them score. And that's exactly what Kansas City. I had a boss once in talk radio. He told me, if there's one thing you're not good at, be good at the 9 other things. The Chiefs, they're not good defensively at creating turnovers, although they did do that in the AFC Championship game. But outside of that, not a whole lot. But they are great at doing so many other things, getting to the quarterback, shutting down receivers, as you guys mentioned, not allowing points to be scored. And Snead was a big part of that this year.
Yeah, I don't think he allowed a touchdown all year, right?
No,
not until the playoffs in the divisional round, and then he allowed 1 in the Super Bowl. So, 0 touchdowns during the regular season, and by the way, it's not like the Chiefs were going up against worms. I mean, they were going up against a lot of top-tier pass catchers this year. So, he's bound to get top dollar at somewhere, whether it's here in Kansas City or elsewhere.
Yeah, I think he deserves it. I mean, watching him shut down those number 1 wide receivers and anybody he was going up against was super entertaining. And as a fan, it was amazing. So, my next question for you, let's say you're Brett Veach. I know this is a tough question. First pick, first pick at 32. Who would you like to take? I mean, you don't even have to give a name maybe, but like what position would you like for the Chiefs to go with?
Yeah, that's interesting because if you're number 32, and this is obviously assuming they don't make a trade of any sort, to me it's like the top 2 priorities have to be offensive tackle, specifically the left tackle, and wide receiver. Mm-hmm. But, man, I mean, Xavier Worthy, I know on PFF's mock draft simulator, which is very addicting, a lot of fun to play with, and I don't know how up-to-date that thing is. They have Xavier Worthy falling to the 2nd round, but given all the hype he's been getting in the last week, I can't imagine him falling into out of the 1st round. I think either one of those Texas receivers, Worthy or Mitchell, would be pretty good. Franklin out of Oregon, another really good receiver if he's available at number 32. And I'll even say this, I know this wasn't your question, but there is a left tackle that might be available at 64, and that's Patrick Paul. And the reason I like Patrick Paul a lot is because he has a lot of experience starting as a left tackle. There are some great college players who maybe only had 1 year of experience, maybe 2 years, but when you can find someone that has 3 years of good experience, starting experience, that can really go a long way. And I think Andy Reid will always be able to get them to play above their potential coming out of college as rookies. So those are the two names. Well, Patrick Paul for the second round, but man, I'd love Xavier Worthy if he's available in that first round, because I know he's not projected to go in the first round, but I think that's going to change as the next month unfolds.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. This is going to be a very interesting draft just with the NIL. You're going to see a lot more of those guys that have stuck around for 3, 4. The tight ends on year 9 from Miami is
yeah, something like that.
But now they're talking about just like there's going to be such a fall off in like rounds after rounds 4 and 5 that you're going to get so much more play from these guys in the second, third round. So I could also see, if they don't do the logical thing and grab wide receiver, trading back and just getting more picks, because I think you're going to see a lot more guys in the second and third round that are going to be making a lot more of an impact than you would have before.
Well, I mentioned earlier, like Brett Veach has done a phenomenal job the last few years in the draft, finding guys outside of the first round. Some of his first-round picks have done well. I know the big knock on Veach is that the wide receivers, in the draft have not been great. Yeah, McCole Hardman was an all-pro returner as a rookie, but that's as a returner, not as a wide receiver. Rashi Rice played well his rookie year. He picked it up, but everything else, like Veach seems to be hitting a home run in so many areas. So, yeah, that's a really good point. I'm curious, if Brett Veach does trade out of the first round and try to stockpile on some draft picks, because the Chiefs have really done a great job outside in the first round finding some underrated guys.
Yeah, you look at Pacheco. 7th round pick. Who would have expected that? He's really done a good job of finding those guys later in the rounds. And Rashee Rice was a 2nd round pick, so yeah, he's good at finding those guys. I do like what you were saying with the offensive tackle, because I think that's something that really needs to be addressed. We saw a lot of holding calls this year. I know Jawan Taylor seemed like he was really picked on, but it would be nice to get somebody that could stick with Mahomes, with Creed and Trey Smith, and keep that solid line. As you are a diehard Chiefs fan for a long time, I always go back to those days of Will Shields, Brian Waters, Willie Roaf. That was a legendary line that played together for a long time.
Yeah, it's so hard to duplicate an offensive line just like that. And Kansas City kind of got fortunate in some areas because Brian Waters was available, Casey Wigman was available, Willie Roaf, you mentioned, was available, and a lot of things just kind of came together. And obviously they gave a guy like Priest Holmes a chance, Frank Green a chance, guys that not a lot of people wanted at the time, and they all came together in Kansas City and created this offense. Not that it was anything compared to the 2018 Chiefs offense, but that Chiefs team in the 2000s under Dick Vermeil, we never thought we'd be able to see anything like that again, because it's so difficult to find so many great players across an offense like that. Unfortunately for the Chiefs, defensively, they just weren't there to create that balance. And you look at this Chiefs team right now, the offense, was not great, but the defense was right there. And if this defense was there for maybe some of the other past good Chiefs offenses, like the Chiefs in the early 90s or in the 2000s, man, it's just fun to think about sometimes, those fantasy teams. I'm not one to really have that kind of discussion, but you can't help but think about that sometimes.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
That's the beauty of Madden. You can try and build those teams.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, man, we appreciate you hopping on. We don't want to keep you for too much longer. I think we already, have gone past our 15 minutes, but we appreciate you coming on greatly. And if you would like to, please plug and promote anything that you would like, and then we'll get you on out of here, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hey, I was going to ask you, because I think you said you want to talk some UFC. You guys have a
I forgot about UFC.
The comment event?
Yeah, he has a
no worries.
I just felt bad because we've kept you for a while, so I didn't want to keep you for too much longer.
No, I'm good on. I'm good on time. Don't worry about
Cool.
that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, I see where you post on about the UFC, and I appreciate that because I follow it pretty diehard, and so I was really curious on, at least as far as like the top 3 events, like O'Malley, and then the co-main event with Poirier. Just kind of, if you want to give me your thoughts on who you think might win. I mean, this is an amazing stacked card for 299.
Yeah, I mean, some people have even argued this actually might be better than 300.
I think so.
Yeah.
Kind of an interesting discussion there. But yeah, a lot of these guys on the prelims could easily be on like the main event of like a normal fight night. I really like Sean O'Malley. Like that guy is just really good and entertaining. Especially when he starts getting into it with guys, and he does a good job of not really crossing a certain line and at the same time getting in fighters' heads. I just think Marlon Vera might be in for a very long night. Dustin Poirier, big fan of his, and I know he picked up a lot of attention for the Conor McGregor rivalry, but yeah, he's kind of been on the decline lately as well. So I'm just kind of curious if he can pick it up, because there are a lot of rumors about him retiring. I'm excited for this Michael Venom Page fight for him to make his UFC debut.
Yeah.
The UFC does a really good job of scouting talent outside of the UFC, guys like Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, and eventually getting them to come over to the big show. We just heard about Kayla Harrison; she's going to be on her way to the UFC soon. So I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see that fight, because Kevin Holland, he at one point was looking like someone who might dominate in the UFC, and he kind of slipped a little bit. So I'm really curious to see how those two battle it out. Piotr Jan, a former champion, someone who wants to try to pick it up. And then in the prelims, you got guys like Curtis Blades, who's always one of the more good fighters. Rafael dos Anjos, a former lightweight champion that you always have to tune in to watch. Pedro Munoz, and then even in the early prelims, Kutalaba, who I've paid attention for quite some time. So I'm really curious to see how some of those fights go. But the best fight of the night, I think, is going to be Kevin Holland and Michael Venom Page. That's going to be very fun to watch.
Well, that one is pretty much a coin flip as far as Vegas has got it. They've actually got Kevin Holland favored at -138. It's not much of a big favorite, but due to MVP's past, I was really shocked. And his size. I mean, MVP is just huge. I can't believe they got him as the underdog, but I actually have MVP picked. I think Kevin Holland is really entertaining, but his just lack of discipline and his habit of just talking during fights, I think is going to bite him in the ass,
Yeah, you see a couple of fighters do that sometimes. I'm just like, man, what are you doing?
I know.
But I listen. By the way, like you mentioned, this is a coin flip. This is one of those fights where it's like, and you see this sometimes in the UFC where there are two guys you really, really, really like, and you don't want either one of them to lose. And that's kind of how I feel about this one too.
The next fight on 300, Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje. Being here in Denver for the past 13 years, I would never be a Broncos fan ever, but I like a lot of the fighters that come out of here. There's a ton of them. I mean, we just watched one win recently, Brandon Royval. We now have a women's champion with Raquel Pennington. I mean, it's like the fight scene here in Colorado is prodigious, and it just keeps going. And that's why next pay-per-view, it's going to be so tough for me, because I love Max Holloway. Such a good dude. I don't know if it ends up a draw. I think I'm happy with it. I just hope neither fighter gets injured from it.
Either way, it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out brawl.
Yeah,
it's going to be well worth it.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, it's almost like that's in the contract of any Justin Gaethje fight. That's going to be a brawl. It's going to be that type of fight. Which, by the way, I'm really pissed off because what year was it? I think it was 2016. I think it was October of 2016. WSOF, before they rebranded and they became the PFL, WSOF had an event in Kansas City, and that was the year I got really into MMA. So I started doing a bunch of research and read about Justin Gaethje. I'm like, I definitely got to check this guy out. And he was supposed to defend his lightweight title against a Russian fighter. I don't remember his name. I think it was Ozzy Dulabov. I'm sure I butchered the last name, but
it's easy to do.
Ozzy got injured 3 hours before the event, so I was so bummed out, especially now, like Justin Gaethje being as big as he is. So unfortunately, I never had the opportunity to see Justin Gaethje in person.
Son of a...
Yeah, that's a bummer. I mean, he's a good dude. He fights under Trevor Whitman. I'm a massive fan of Trevor Whitman, but hopefully one of these days, I mean,
oh yeah,
you know, the first UFC was out here in Denver, and I keep waiting for them to have another event out here. Hopefully, you know, or Kansas City. Kansas City's got a few fighters out there that are really notable. So hopefully they'll come back soon. But as far as the 299, I think the fight that I'm excited for the most actually is the Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint Denis, and I didn't really know anything about Benoit, and then after watching UFC Countdown a couple days ago, and then a few friends of mine kind of explaining his whole backstory, being a part of the French Special Forces.
Yeah, he's like a wild man.
He is an absolute assassin. I hate to, and I, like you said, I'm with you. I'm a big Dustin fan. His charity, the hot sauce, the guy's a brawler. He's got heavy hands. Been a big fan of his for a long time, but I'm afraid he's going to lose this fight.
Yeah, I don't really disagree with you, unfortunately, because I'd love to see Dustin win, especially with all the rumors of him potentially retiring. But Benoit St. Denis, I mean, it just seems like he's kind of been on a surge lately. I think he's only lost one fight, and I think that was his UFC debut, if I'm not mistaken. So this is someone that's really done a good job and made the most of all of his opportunities. Because if I'm not mistaken, every single win in the UFC has been a finish.
Yeah,
so
he's finished every
yeah.
I think it's going to be a rough night.
You're right. He's 13-1-0, 4 wins by knockout, 9 wins by submission, and 7 first-round finishes. And he is favored. He's -170 to Dustin Poirier at +142. So Vegas is feeling the same way you guys are.
Yeah. I hope Dustin pulls off the upset, man.
You know what? Yeah, I do too. You know, it's a fight that it's not on either of the pay-per-views that we've been talking about, but it's on one of the fight night cards later in the month. But the main event for I don't know what number fight night they're on anymore.
It's hard to keep
track
It
of
was
that,
87 last week.
The fight between Namajunas and Ribas.
Yeah,
I'm a huge Rose Namajunas fan.
Big time, man.
When I got into MMA in 2016, and I don't know what it was, if it was her style or maybe just the fact that she was a bald chick fighting in the octagon, but I was just really drawn to her. And as her career went on, I was like, this chick is gonna dethrone Joanna, and she did exactly that. Not in the way I expected it to happen, but man, unfortunately, her reign as a champion was very short-lived.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And I would really, I know she's changing divisions too. So, and you guys mentioned Trevor Whitman and that crew, Pat Barry, up there in Colorado. I'm really curious if she bounces back in this new division that she's competing in.
Man, I'm really hoping so, because I know she fought that last one, and it was super boring fight, and she lost, in a decision. But I have been.
She broke her hand, didn't she?
She did. She broke her hand. Good call. But I am the same way, man. When she won the title, and she's up there talking about how like what she did to do, and she kept saying to herself in the corner, "I'm the best. I'm the best." And she gave that speech afterwards. I'd be lying if I didn't say I didn't.
A little dusty.
Yeah. I mean, I am a huge Rose Namajunas fan, and she's such an unconventional fighter where she has all these charities where she plants like community gardens for people. She's all about permaculture and a Buddhist. She's someone that you would meet on the street and you would never think in a world that she's a killer in the octagon, you know? I'm right there with you,
That's what's funny about the sport is like a lot of these guys are kind of like that. Like Megan Anderson, I mean, she doesn't fight anymore, but she's like covered in all tattoos, and tattoos just kind of from a public perspective just have this negative connotation. And it's like when you meet her, and I haven't met her, but I know a lot of people who have, she's like the nicest person in the world too. So it's always, by the way, to go back to Namajunas, what you were saying about her when she was saying I'm the best, I thought it was, well, I didn't think anything she said was funny, but in the stare down, in the weigh-ins, when Joe Rogan was like, "What are you saying?" and she's like, "I'm just saying the Lord's Prayer." But there was nothing funny about that. But Joe Rogan's reaction, where he just raised his eyebrows, like that just made me laugh.
The Joe Rogan, like, what the fuck?
And she's got such a serious look in those stare downs too. I mean, she just kind of looks like so cool headed and going into it. I mean, you know, Trevor and Pat, they both coach her up so well that you could just tell that like the mental state that she goes into these fights are just, perfect because she's not like overwhelmed too much, and she convinces herself of it that she is the best, whether it is a win or loss, and that's just it. Is like I just love to see her fight no matter what. Like, just a big fan of what she represents.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, I'm a huge fan of hers, and she's, I think she's lost her last 2, and she hasn't fought a whole lot lately.
Yep.
That Carla Esparza fight, I mean, I don't even know what the game plan was, and I don't know if Pat Barry was to blame or what. Yeah. So hopefully she can rebound.
Yeah, 'cause she's had some exciting fights, so you don't want to see her career taper off like that because you want to see someone give maximum effort all the time.
Sometimes you can't though.
Yep. Well, I just got the notification that KU starting their rivalry game with KSU. So you went to KU, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I was a transfer student, so I only went to KU for 2 years. Would have loved to go for 4 years, but you guys all know how college works. It costs a lot of money. So, for financial reasons, I'm glad I took the 2-year route. But those are 2 great years, and that was when Ben McLemore was there. He declared, and then I got to see Andrew Wiggins and Joel Embiid. That was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, 2 very famous Jayhawks there. Yeah, I actually just saw that Jalen Wilson got a 3-year contract, so he's nowhere on not on a 2-way contract anymore. So that's good to see. I like to see these Jayhawks succeed in the NBA. It's always tough with Joel Embiid because he is the rival to Jokic. Yeah, big Nuggets fan here.
I did convert him to a Nuggets fan and an Avalanche fan, but I haven't. And will never succeed at the Broncos.
Oh, man. Never. Avalanche, come on, man.
You gotta love the Avs.
Who's your hockey team then?
The Golden Knights, 100%.
Oh, whoa.
The new team.
I see you go to Vegas every now and then. Is that why?
Yeah, so I tried to get into the NHL, and I tried to root for the Blues because that's the closest team to Kansas City, but I just couldn't do it. I'm like, but I've always just had like this emotional connection to Vegas. I mean, I just go there frequently, and whenever they announced the team, I'm like, you know what? I'll get behind them. And I got one piece of merch of Vegas Golden Knights merch, and then no one could have expected them to have the year they had their first year.
Yeah, it
and
helps when they were really good out of the gate.
The way the NHL does their expansion draft is
nice.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man.
It's a fun sport. I just wish the sport was more popular because I remember watching. I can't remember what year. I want to say 2012. I think it was the United States and Canada. Like, man, that was just so fun to watch. And I really hope Kansas City gets the team one day.
I sure hope so, too. That's one reason I got behind the Avs because, and that's one reason I got behind the Nuggets. We don't have an NBA or an NHL team, so I had to latch on to somebody.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you enjoy the KU game. Let's hope they finally can pull off a win tonight. They've been such a slump. Yeah. So,
struggling.
Yeah, we can't lose to the Wildcats twice in one season. That'd be too embarrassing.
Yeah, you can't. That's not doable. That you can't afford that. Not one bit.
No, not at all. Bill Self will be lighting some people up. That's for sure.
All right. Well, we'll let you now plug and promote whatever you want to, and then we will let you get out of here. Sorry to cut you off earlier. I didn't mean it.
No, it's all good, man.
I was just worried about your time.
No, it's all good. It's a Tuesday night. There's nothing exciting going on.
Good.
But other than that, the Chief Stone, Farzcast, the Red Friday live chat, I do that on social media. If you just search my name, Farzin VOUSOUGHIAN, it shouldn't be too hard to find. But no, I definitely appreciate you guys having me on, and definitely let me know when you guys want me back on.
Oh, of course, man. We really appreciate it. Thank you. And just real quick, I got to give you a quick props, dude. I told Chris before we started, coolest man cave I've ever seen. Your man cave. It's what I aspire to.
I appreciate that. People always ask, like, how long did it take? Honestly, that was years and years and years of collecting. And when I moved out of my parents after college, a lot of that stuff I kept. It was in my room, and I've always wanted to have like a sports bar type of man cave. So yeah, a lot of years of collecting for sure.
Well, mad respect too, man. Hopefully I can have one someday too. But thanks again for coming on, man, and we look forward to having you on again in the future. Everybody go check out the Chiefs Zone on YouTube and the FARZcast.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Greatly appreciate your
Thank
time.
you. You have a good night, sir.
Have a good one, man.
All right, you guys as well. Thank you.
Yep. All right.
Well, that was good. Thank you to Farzin for hopping on with us. That was very cool of him. He's, like Chad said, he's very big up in the Chiefs world. And we are very thankful that he took time out of his Tuesday night to hop on here with us and you guys.
Yeah, that was great.
So hopefully he will be back on in the future, and maybe just having him talk UFC if there's nothing going on.
He really knows his stuff with UFC. That's awesome.
So we'll be maybe talking to Farzin here in the future on UFC, but definitely on the Chiefs. Hopefully we'll be talking about the terrible slide and decline that they're on at the beginning of the season as they suffer from a terrible Super Bowl hangover.
Well, even if that does happen, we'll probably still win the Super Bowl, judging by last year.
At the rate it's going, it doesn't really matter. It's just like, all right, something will go their way eventually.
But we do, for you Broncos listeners out there, we do plan on getting a Broncos insider on soon so that we can kind of even things out.
Well, the goal is eventually to have an insider from pretty much all the major teams. That is the plan, and that is what we're striving to do from here on out. Farzin was the beginning. He is the snowball that will eventually turn into a giant boulder of snow.
And just to give you, and he's right, because to give you a preview, next week we're having on a guy that hosts a podcast out of North Carolina called Time Out Sports Podcast. Really good podcast that just same with the feed. It really gives a lot of information. It's just like almost like ESPN, where you see these videos and these posts immediately after it comes out. And he's really up to date on his stuff. It sounds like he'll be a good guest.
Yeah, so good ups on Chad. Chad's nabbed these two guys. I'm working on other things. I'm trying to get some people as well. So we've got some other irons in the fire. So hopefully each week the plan is to try and have some form of guest on just to make the show better. And then also, we can cross-pollinate fans. So
that's what I'm talking about. We know you guys might get a little tired of just hearing us two, so we got to mix it up a little bit.
I ask my lady all the time. I'm like, how could you ever get tired of this?
It's impossible.
She says usually after 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes. 15, that's enough.
And you're done.
Yeah. I know Hannah appreciates the break on Tuesday nights to get
she gets a little pampering to herself.
That's right. Well, Chris, I think I need to hear some music.
Yeah, it's that time. We are at the halfway point. We're doing things a little bit differently, and that might, depending on how things go, we'll always try and keep the same parts of the show, but they might be moved around depending on people's availability and whatnot. So we are going to cruise into the music break right now because we cut things short in the middle of February after the Super Bowl and everything. We didn't want to sell Crypt Keeper short, so we're going to keep rolling with Crypt Keeper, playing songs off of their new album, The World is Dying and We're Reaping the Benefits. The name of this song is Human Error, which we've all been,
sounds like my college days.
Yeah, it sounds like most people's days at work. Human Error. But check it out. We will be right back, and as always, stick around. And we are back for the final time of this episode. As we read through the second half with Crypt Keeper, you just heard their song Human Error from their new album, The World is Dying and We're Reaping the Benefits. You can go to cryptkeeperdenver.bandcamp.com to purchase any merch, purchase music directly from them. You can buy their new album, which all of the songs you are hearing are off of. And if you'd like to, just send them some money, because why not? I already filled those up. Oh, you're ready to go. You're just grabbing it.
Yeah, I'm just grabbing it.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Crypt Keeper.
Yes, Crypt
Check
Keeper.
them out.
Check them out. Give them a like and a follow. It's time to get back in the headlines. It's that time, Chad.
Let's do it. We only got halfway through the NFL one, so I will talk about we only covered Chris Mortensen.
Chris Mortensen and then the IDITAROD.
I am happy.
IDITAROD.
I wanted to cover this one because the Niners didn't get Steve Spagnuolo. Apparently, right after the Super Bowl, they tried to hire Spags. Just the classic move, like, we can't beat you guys, so if you can't beat them, you got to join them.
Yeah.
Or get them to join you.
Which makes sense.
Because we were smart and gave Spags a raise, he stayed with the Chiefs, and so they hired their passing game coordinator, Nick Sorensen, as their defensive coordinator.
Which almost sounds like Nick Swardson.
I know. Or Daniel Sorensen, who used to play for the Chiefs. I was wondering if they were related.
Nick Swardson was in the news this week. I don't know if you saw that. In
For what?
Beaver Creek, Colorado. He supposedly got drunk and took gummies, weed gummies, or I don't know, some sort of gummies, and basically just started rambling on stage, and a whole bunch of people got pissed off at him.
Are you serious?
We're walking out of the show. There's videos of it. He kept trying to do this impression of Jason Statham as something. And he's like, okay, here we go. Okay, I'm going to do Jason Statham as whatever. And he's like, okay, here we go.
Sorry.
Oh, but I thought you were watching it. But yeah, anyways, he like bombed really bad, and he was like the headliner, and there's a bunch of people super pissed off.
Fucked
Yeah, he's all
up, man.
fucked up.
Yeah, dude, he's definitely taken a downhill turn. I actually saw him. He surprise opened for Joe Coy when we went. Actually, that's like a year ago to the date. My parents and I went to go see Joe Coy with Hannah, and he surprise brought Nick Swardson out and just like told this really cheesy fart joke, but. Yeah, it's like it's nuts. Like he's not as big as he wants to. He has to rely on those Adam Sandler movies for sure.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Which, dude, by the way, quick little rec center, Spaceman.
Was it good?
Unbelievable, dude. I think Adam Sandler should seriously get nominated for an Oscar for this. It was excellent.
Really?
It was completely excellent.
I feel like I'm waiting for you to be like, just fucking with you.
No, man, no, for real. Like
No.
you know the serious movies he's done, they're always great.
I did like Punch Drunk Love. That's one of my favorite Sandler movies.
Not a lot of people know about
That's
that movie.
a good
It's
movie
really good.
where he's trying to rip off the coupon thing to go on vacation to get like infinite frequent flyer
Yeah, I haven't
miles.
seen that movie in fucking ages.
Oh, and I think fucking our buddy from the Along Came Polly clips in that movie. He's the bad guy.
Oh, really? Man, yeah,
Philip
I have
Seymour
not
Hoffman
seen that movie. Probably
is the guy
since I
that's
was,
like extorting him.
Oh, really?
Because he's like, I think he's doing phone sex stuff or something, and then like they start realizing that they can like extort him. Either way, good movie.
Yeah.
Rec Center on Punch Drunk Love. If you haven't seen it, it's like 20 years old, but
Yeah.
still.
Awesome. Yeah, it's check out Spaceman on
Okay.
Netflix. It's
good to know. I will check it out. It's right there in front of my face on Netflix. Usually, whenever I open it.
Yeah, you got to check
So
it out,
it's
dude.
Spaceman.
Yep. All right.
All right, let's get into it. Take
Mike
us
Evans.
to let's go with your buddy Jason Kelsey real quick.
Yes.
Let's start with that. That's where we'll be back on track.
Okay. Jason Kelsey retired. Everybody saw the press conference. It went super viral how he had a hard time going through it. I'll just say this. He is a pioneer for men and it being okay for men to be emotional, I guess. Like we all talk about it, like people share the stupid, copy and paste statuses, like, it's okay, men should be able to talk about stuff too, but nobody really ever, it's whatever.
No.
But no, like Jason Kelsey, I think if a leaf just fell off a tree, he'd
He
probably
might
cry.
shed a tear.
He is a very emotional guy. It was a very emotional press conference. His brother was there, his mom and dad. But regardless of all the emotions, what a career. Six All-Pros, man. I didn't realize that.
We talked about it when he first announced his retirement.
Yeah, we thought
he
it was
probably is.
Oh,
or
shit.
well, he didn't announce it,
We'll
but
do
yeah,
this. We'll do this to Jason.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
There was rumors that were basically like he's done after that loss. And you know, we talked about just some of his stats. He is probably the best center to ever play in the NFL. I mean, if not top 3 for sure.
Yeah, I think.
But there's arguments for the best.
Yeah, definitely first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You know, just how and you know something that got brought up on the Around the NFL podcast is how different's the tush push going to be next year.
It won't exist.
That's the thing.
I honestly think he was the definitive cog in that wheel that made it work.
I think so. He got so low, was able to push.
He basically
so
just
much.
took the other guy's feet out.
Yep. And a lot of it's not so much about being strong. It's about just getting so low, and then
You
Jalen
take
Hurts
away
is going
their
on
leverage,
top.
yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be real interesting to see if they keep using that as much. You know, 92%.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you just look at career NFL statistics. Games played 193. Games started 193.
Wow.
Dude was an Iron Man.
Yeah, he really was. It's amazing, and such a good dude. Chris and I were talking about where he might go. We both are in agreement that it'll probably be Amazon Prime. You know, I think Al Michaels' contract still bleeds into next year. Unfortunately, I used to have so much respect for him, but I think you know how they have the pregame and the halftime crew of Fitzpatrick and Tony G.
Yeah.
I bet I could see him probably joining that one.
I mean, he could, but he also could just be like, I'm just going to do my podcast.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
And
I mean, that podcast is
just
railing,
murder
man.
it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, so
killing.
he's got a lot of options. He could easily go and be any pregame, postgame analyst.
In a perfect world, he would replace Romo. I know it doesn't seem
dude.
like a real good fit. I just want to bring this
Romo
up.
in the Super Bowl.
You know, yeah. So we haven't had even a chance to talk about it. You talked about how he ruined the final call.
Did you listen to it again?
I have.
Is it not?
You know
You're
what's
just like,
funny, though?
shut the fuck up.
Dude, it's horrible. But not just that. This extends way worse.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like a tradition every year when the Chiefs win the Super Bowl that I go back through on NFL Plus.
Chad seems to think they just win it every single year now.
It's a
just
tradition.
you win it a few times, and it's like, oh, every single year.
That's what back-to-back means, baby. But so the great thing about NFL Plus is I go back through and rewatch the games and just like soak in all the greatness. Romo calls every single one of our playoff games.
Good.
Dude.
I'm glad that you at least can't. You're
want
just watching on
to
mute.
bore my ears out. It's horrible.
I don't know, Jim. I don't know, Jim.
I hate it, man.
Maybe, Jim.
I can't even get started on it because I would just.
It's like, dude, just go become
a
a pro golfer. Nobody wants to hear you talk about
I
football
can't
anymore.
stand it anymore.
It sucks
man.
too because when he first came out, everybody was like, "Dude, this guy is a savant or
Yeah.
something." He's calling plays. He's like, "They're probably gonna run, a handoff over the right guard right here," and it happened. And you're just
Yeah.
like, "Holy shit!" He called it, and he would know what was happening before it happened, and then all of a sudden he just quit giving a fuck.
Yeah.
This year, just out of nowhere, it's just like, just phoning it in.
I don't know. But a lot of it's his just voice, his mannerisms. I know that kind of seems nitpicky and stuff like that. But
him and Jim Nantz aren't a good crew. They're
It's
not
nuts.
a good.
I used to like CBS guys a lot more than Fox, but now I really hope I know it's inevitable. But I like Burkhart is it Kevin Harlan and Greg Olsen?
Dude, Kevin Harlan should call like every game.
I like Greg Olsen and him better than anything.
Yeah.
They're hilarious together.
Kevin
man.
Harlan's awesome. The guy who does the radio calls on the primetime games. Fuck, what's his name?
Oh, wait, you mean like NFL primetime?
Yeah, but the radio ones, like
Not Chris Boomer and Booger.
No,
Okay.
no. I can't remember.
I
Either
don't
way.
know, but-
But there's a couple of guys that I'm just like,
Either
they'd
way,
be
dude,
so much better.
It sucks because I always look forward to rewatching these playoff games, and it's just ruining it because Romo's on the calls. I hate it.
I revel in that.
I'm sure you got
I
to take every win you
a little bit of just solace in the fact that you can't rewatch them.
can. I'm going to, but I'll just put it on silent.
All right.
But
well,
hey, this
we
is to
got
Jason Kelsey.
Jason Kelsey.
Damn
Cheers,
good
buddy.
guy.
We'll be on your podcast soon, or you guys can come on ours.
Yeah, they're gonna come on ours, dude. They'll be guessing ours.
We'll call it Google Voice Chat.
Good old
We'll-
Boulier. All right, a couple more. I'm gonna hit the Buccaneers wide receiver, and then I'm gonna let you hit the amazing news of the Broncos.
Yeah. Well, we already knew it was
Top
coming,
wide
but-
receiver was signed to an extension in Tampa Bay. Mike Evans signs a 2-year deal, $52 million. I think it's $35 million guaranteed. Dan was telling me today that a lot of it's front loaded.
It is. It's like I think 35 is guaranteed, isn't it?
Yeah, 35 guaranteed,
so-
but I think all of that is next year. So
yeah, it's like most of next year's is guaranteed.
Yep. But yeah, let's breeze through this. Why don't you
Okay.
cover the great?
Real quick too. Also, Houston agrees to 3-year, $36 million $23.5 guaranteed for tight end Dalton Schultz. So they lock up one of their better. Jesus, that shot got me for some reason.
Yeah, it did, man. Strong shit.
One of their better pass catchers this last year. So hopefully that works out for them. But the big news in D-Town. We all saw the writing on the wall, and it's here. The Broncos informed Russell Wilson yesterday after Sunday. Well, I think they told him on Sunday because he scrubbed all of this Broncos shit off of his Twitter account on Sunday night. And then Monday we find out the Broncos informed him that on the beginning of the league year, the new league year, he will be cut, and the Broncos will eat the largest dead cap hit in NFL history, $80 million.
Yep. Is it 80 or 85?
It's 85. I think
No,
it's like
don't
85.7.
fucking
No, it's a-
shit. You don't trim off the fat. Let's get
It
it
is
correct.
$5 million extra dollars.
Because it's every bit.
I don't
savory.
remember what the exact amount it is.
I think it's
I
like
know it's like
85.
37 this year, 50 some the next. But
I
you
got a
can
question.
you could eat whatever you want.
I got 2 questions for you.
I
okay?
might
'Cause,
not have
dude,
any
I'm really
answers
bad
for
at
you.
remembering numbers. So, how many games did he win as a Broncos starter?
11,
Okay, how many bathrooms did he have?
12.
Thank you. That's what I was
But-
trying to remember.
He did have better numbers than Patrick Mahomes in a lot of areas in the regular season. So just saying that.
Don't think that equates to Super Bowl trophy.
It doesn't.
All right.
You can ask Peyton Manning
Oh,
that same thing.
all right. I joke, I kid, but we'll cover this just real quick. I do think that he got the shaft. It sucks because I think Sean. Did you hear that thing where if he had gotten suspended, that guaranteed
you
money
mean-
would have been voided?
Oh.
So, and that came right after Sean Payton lit his ass up and yelled at him on the sideline. So a lot of people are speculating that they did that, or Payton did that to try to instigate him losing his cool, and then the Broncos could have possibly suspended him.
I don't know.
I mean, they wouldn't have suspended him, but it just seems like Sean Payton was desperate.
Even if he yelled back at him, I don't think they could have got him for conduct detrimental to the team or anything like that. But I
$85
think
million, you got to think that they're desperate to try to get it out from under it any way possible. Maybe if Russ would have shoved him away or something.
I think they tried everything they could at the combine to trade him, and nobody wanted him because why would you trade for him when you could just get him for the fucking veteran league minimum and he's still making $37 million from the Broncos?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
be on the lookout for the Steelers. The Patriots now are on Russell Wilson watch.
I think the Patriots would be a good fit.
The
I think you guys should get Kirk
Falcons, Kirk Cousins is going to Atlanta.
Is it decided?
I heard something about he might be looking at property there.
Oh, well, that says a lot. Okay.
So that was actually one of my quick headlines was that Kirk Cousins is going to, sounds like his time is done in Minnesota. And
Yeah.
all signs are leading to him going to Atlanta. So that one kind of scrubs that one for Russell, although I do think that would be the best fit for Russell Wilson, an extremely run-heavy team. But
Definitely.
it is what it is, and now the Broncos are probably going to have to draft a quarterback at 12 if not move up. But we've already seen. Now I text Chad. Was it yesterday or today about Cortland Sutton?
Yeah, that was today. Yep.
Cortland Sutton scrubbed all the Broncos
Dude,
stuff.
that's who I would like the Chiefs to grab him, man. Some of
he's
those
gonna go
touchdown
somewhere.
catches, dude, that was like fucking Randy Moss like. Just
Yeah.
the way he would haul him
The
in.
toe drags, yeah. He's going to go somewhere. Justin Simmons probably will get cut or traded. They're blowing this whole team up, so it is what it is. You got to at this point.
Yep.
But
I think that's it for NFL. You got anything else?
no. Oh, Xavier Worthy, which we spoke about a little bit, did run the fastest ever, 4.21. Well, and I was going to bring this up. The Cheetah didn't even run that fast of a 40.
No.
It's like a 4.27 or something like that.
That's still pretty fucking fast, dude.
But they're saying like most of the guys that cracked the top speed this year had like mid to high 4.2s in the 40.
Yeah, and like a guy, Keon Coleman. So they were talking about him as like the wide receiver from Florida State. Didn't have that good of a 40 time, but when it came down to the gauntlet drill where like they run routes, catch like 4 balls during these routes, had one of the fastest times during that. So game speed and track speed,
It's two different things.
totally different things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you look at perfect example, John Ross, who previously held the record for a 40-yard dash at the combine.
4.22.
Never excelled as a wide receiver in the NFL.
He had that one year in Arizona where he was catching all kinds.
Did he get 1,000 yards?
I don't know. if
Yeah,
he
I don't
did, but
think he
had
ever
one good
really
year.
excelled. So being fast and catching the ball,
Doesn't
we
mean
saw
anything.
from the replacements, is a totally different thing.
That's true.
Yep.
That's very
You got to
true.
use stick 'em.
Yep. Time to get into the NBA.
Let's do it.
We're going to kind of fly.
T, come on. I'm burning. My lungs are burning.
My legs are burning. Speaking of burning legs, Ant missed the Timberwolves tip-off due to forgetting what time it was because he was getting his stretch on before the game.
Yeah.
He was forced to come off the bench for the first time since he was a rookie. So Anthony Edwards, God damn it, I did it again. I haven't done that one in a while. Son of a bitch. Anthony Edwards misses tip off though because he's getting a little extra band workout in the hallway outside of the locker room.
When you brought this up to me, I think a lot of these guys have their headphones on during pregame. I wonder if he just had like a song that he was just jamming to. He's like, man, I fucking love this song.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh shit, the game started.
He's just like listening to Freebird and it's like
Yeah.
the third solo and he's just like, I can't stop now.
Yeah, you just got to finish it, man. Get it. Never gets old. Love it. What else
That's
you got
all
for
I had.
NBA?
That's all I had for the NBA. What did you have?
I
It
got a
wasn't
few
really
things.
okay. You got a few things. Oh
Just
yeah,
a couple storylines.
There was one
of
other
them are
thing.
Nuggets. But the Bucks are 6-0 after their All-Star break. So Doc Rivers might have that team finally clicking.
Yeah, they are definitely clicking. I brought it up when we were chatting before the show, but they are now the first team in NBA history to win 3 games by 50-plus points in a single
No,
season.
I'm talking about the Bucks.
Oh, shit. I'm on the Celtics.
You're on the
God
Celtics.
damn it.
Yep, the Celtics are winning tonight against the Cavs, so
Whoops.
they're going to end up being 49-12. They're dominating the
Yeah.
East.
Yeah, everybody's saying it's looking like the Nuggets and the Celtics.
Dude, I'm so psyched. The playoffs are so close.
They're so
like
close.
NBA, I love the NBA playoffs because the NFL playoffs. Like I just love it all. I'm a fucking sports fanatic meathead.
But the NBA playoffs is the best.
It's-
And the
NHL. The NHL's
too,
really
but
good because
it's-
underdogs win a lot. But I mean, it's not just a one-game thing. It's okay. Shit, we went down 0-2. Well, let's see how it goes in the other team's stadium.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I mean, could you imagine the Bucks and it's looking like the Bucks and Celtics Eastern Conference Finals? I mean, that'd be great.
Yeah, and now speaking of the Celtics, now I can say my thing. I said you heard most of it just a second ago. First team in NBA history to win 3 games by 50-plus points. They beat the Golden State Warriors 140-88, the Nets 136-86, and the Pacers 155-104. In that game against Golden State, they had a 61-17 run to close out the first half. To finish that half with 82 points to Golden State's 38, which is just insanity.
Domination, man.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how efficient. Hey, wait, hold on. I found this out after the fact the next day. That was without Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. I think quietly he is a low-key, huge pickup for them.
No, it's not
because
even
now
low-key.
he's opened up the floor for them because he can spread it out, shoot threes, and he's down there in the paint.
JJ Redick said it today that Drew Holiday is the big factor here because the way Joe Mazzulla is using him, it's like he's opened him up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Bud. What was it? The Bucks coach, Bud Budenholzer.
Bud Budenholzer.
Budenholzer.
Budenholzer. Boomhauer.
Boomhauer. From King of the Hill. But, I mean, their defense is way better. I mean, the Celtics are a powerhouse in the East. But a lot of people are expecting, like it's here. Okay, here's a good stat. I think they're 1-3 against the top teams in the West.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that says a lot there.
does.
Speaking of the West, Nuggets are on a 6-0 streak since the All-Star break as well. They've been playing damn good ball, like we talked about earlier in the beginning of the episode. They stomped on the Lakers. It was a close game, but they closed it out pretty well. I love Jamal Murray's statements after the game. That was, chef's kiss.
Yeah, he's like, I forget exactly what he said, but he just talked about just like.
We wanted to see the reaction.
Yeah.
We wanted to take out the crowd in the game. Yeah, you're right. I can't get it verbatim, but it was pretty much he just wanted to take out the crowd.
Like we wanted
because
to see
it was
the air leave
LeBron's
the
night.
stadium.
Yeah.
Well, and you could like audibly hear it too when Jokic hit that step back 3 over. God damn it, Anthony Edwards. No,
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis. When he hit that step back 3 over Anthony Davis, you could literally hear the whole crowd go, "Ah."
Yeah. You just knew it was coming, man. And the way they close out games, I mean, they're so clutch in the fourth quarter. Their fourth quarter defense is one of the best in the NBA. I think this. They have a big test tonight. Don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. We've done this before. They do play the Suns tonight in Denver. The Suns, though, have lost 4 out of their last 6. They are a horrible fourth
They're banged
quarter,
up.
and they are banged up. They're without Devin Booker. Bradley Beal just came back, and Kevin Durant is kind of playing like a shell of himself. I mean, he's all right, but he's not the superstar that he used to be.
No, I'm definitely not scared of the Suns this year as much as I was last year. The Timberwolves, though, I am scared of.
They've been kind of falling off a little
A
bit,
little
too, though.
bit, but they are
They've
scary.
been slipping. Yeah.
But this Nuggets team, you've heard plenty of people say it, the scariest thing in the NBA was just the Jokic-Murray two-man game, but now you also have the Jokic-Aaron Gordon game, which is just annihilating people.
Dude,
There's no stopping.
Seeing him take off is sick.
He just waits. He's just like, ah!
I almost bought his shoes. I almost bought his China-made shoes. I mean, I know it sounds stupid.
Jokic's got China-made shoes,
I know.
too.
I want to
technically,
look for Jokic's shoes, too, because
the only problem are, though, I just don't. I like the look of them, but then I feel like as soon as I wear them, I'm going to be like, I don't like these.
You don't really seem like
I
someone
don't
that
feel
would
like I could wear basketball
shoes.
shoes.
You're all skate shoes, man.
I bought a pair of like Nike high top, like black ones, and even then I was like, these are a little too basketball.
Yeah,
I
got
still want a
KD's
pair
cool.
like like old school, like the Jordan ones or
Yeah.
something. I could rock those.
I know
But
it.
yeah, the Nuggets are just cruising. We got to see a rematch of the finals with the Heat on Friday, which was actually a pretty good game.
Yep.
They beat up the Kings, who have had their number all year. They basically shut the door on the Warriors dynasty. They're cruising right now. And it was said by the team, I mean, KCP said it, he's obviously been hurt and has missed a few games, and we've seen Porter step up, which I'll talk something about Porter here shortly. But KCP said after the All-Star break, like, Jokic sent everybody in the team chat a message, and he wouldn't say what it was, but it was basically,
I hope we find out someday.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah. Apparently, I think it was from KCP, said that it got everybody charged up.
I forget who it was. He wasn't a very big player. I think he played on the Cavs when LeBron was there. But he was talking, and oh man, he was just like, Jokic is just, it's like inevitable at this point. Like, you can't.
That's what Draymond said after the Warriors. Yeah, he said.
Well, and then
tried to
LeBron after the Lakers game, they asked him,
What did he say?
They said, "Is there an answer for Jokic?" And he just said, "No."
Nah, damn. I
No.
love it, dude. I love it.
That's all he said.
Yeah.
He just said, "Nope," and just like put the microphone down. I was
That's
like,
awesome. He's too good, man. He's too smart.
There's just no stopping him. So
let's keep. Finish what you were gonna say about Porter, because that was really
oh
remarkable.
yeah, Porter, the first player ever to record 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 threes without missing a shot, which he did against the Lakers on Saturday night. And he's really stepped up in the absence of KCP, because we were worried without KCP there's going to be a fall off on defense, which there has been, unfortunately. But Porter stepped up. He's rebounding at a rate he hasn't in a while, and he's just really taken the reins of, like, you got to step up right now. There's nobody else to do it.
He's a sharpshooter, and when he's hitting, it's dangerous.
It is. Case in point, you don't miss a shot over an entire game. He would have
10 for 10.
but they called that shot
A
at
foul.
halftime. It wasn't a foul. It was just after the buzzer.
Oh,
so it
that's
didn't,
what it was.
in theory,
Okay.
count as a shot.
Nice.
So he lucked out there.
That's
But,
cool.
let's get into the standings real quick. We're going to fly through this.
We'll
and
get to
then-
that, and then I want to touch on the MVP odds real quick.
Oh, yeah. We'll do that right now.
All right. So after the first few games, SGA, well, after the All-Star break, SGA's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander
So
from
it's
the
a tough
Thunder
one.
was the favorite. Then after the first few games, when Jokic started off the All-Star break with triple-doubles,
Yeah.
just no big deal.
I think 4 straight.
He's now moved into the favorite at -150. Then SGA at +220. Luka at +800. I like that pick a lot. I think if Luka keeps playing the way he is, I think he should move in. And sorry to keep harping on this, but Jokic would want Luka to get it. Jokic has already got it. Yeah, he would want his buddy to get it. I think, and what Luka's doing, I think almost merits it more.
Yeah.
Because of the guys that's on the Mavs. All they have is Kyrie and
I think Kyrie's old.
I think Hardaway Jr. I think that's it. So then Giannis at the 4th favorite at +1400, and then Tatum, which is crazy that but it's because he's on such a good team at +2500.
Yeah. So,
All right, so let's get into the standings.
Jokic, your good money's on him, but you ain't going to win a lot of money on it. So,
Yeah.
let's get into the East real quick. We're just going to fly through the top 6. So, Boston Celtics, 48 wins, 12 losses. They have won their last 10 games. They're doing really good.
Yep.
Milwaukee
11,
Bucks.
actually, I think. They're 11 straight. I thought the other day against the Warriors, I thought that made 11.
It does say. Oh, you know why? Because it's only in the last 10
it
games.
says win streak
So
here.
there's that one before the 10
Yep.
games. So they are on an 11-game win streak. The Bucks sitting at 41-21. In second place, Cleveland Cavaliers behind them, 39-21. New York Knicks, 36-25. The 76ers, 35-25, and the Orlando Magic, surprisingly, in that 6th spot, 36-26.
Yep.
Do you have it pulled up, or do you want me to keep
Yeah,
going?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'll take the Western Conference. Yep, tight race here in the top 3. We got the Timberwolves at 43-19, the Thunder at 42-19, a half game back from the Timberwolves. Then the Nuggets also 42-19, a half game back as well from the Timberwolves. And then the Clippers at 39-21, the New Orleans Pelicans 36-25, surprisingly, and then the Suns at 35-26. So
Yeah, they might fall down after tonight, but
Damn right
I
they
did
will.
want to mention this, though. I don't know if you saw this stat, but the Denver Nuggets right now compared to last year are almost completely identical in terms of stats and wins and everything like that.
wow.
The only difference is last year they were far and away pulling away in first, and this
Yeah.
year they're sitting in 3rd place.
The Thunder and
That's rough,
Timberwolves are
man.
playing a lot better ball
That's
than
rough.
last year. That's what's
It's
crazy,
rough
man.
when you're that good still, and you're like, well, fuck, now we're in 3rd.
Yeah.
Last year we were in 1st and never looked back.
Well, what's great is it's a lot harder for those teams to play in Denver, so
That's
we got to
true.
bank on that.
All right, we're going to fly through the NHL, hit on some F1, and then we're going to get into the DDOE. So this is going to go fast in the NHL, so real quick. I might even turn that one down a little bit. It's kind of loud. So, trade deadline is Friday, and for the first time in a long time, the Penguins are out of the playoffs by 10 points, and they could be sellers. And there's been a lot of rumors that Sidney Crosby, a lot of people want him to come team up with his buddy Nathan McKinnon over here in Colorado. If that were to happen, I mean, you're talking like a Ray Bourque signing of the early 2000s.
That's a blockbuster trade there.
It would be huge. If you add a guy like that to the second line of this team, they would be unstoppable. But
There's no doubt.
we'll see what happens. There are a couple other guys on that team that for sure are going to get traded. I don't know if Crosby. I think that Colorado would be the only other place he'd probably want to go.
I would imagine, yeah.
And he would have the basically like a no trade clause just by being who he is. So we'll see what happens with that. I am interested to see. There is going to be some big trades. The Avalanche traded Curtis McDermott. So there are already some moves happening, but we'll see a few more for sure as the time gets closer to the deadline. One other big bit of news: the New Jersey Devils fire their head coach Lindy Ruff and promote Travis Green from assistant to the interim head coach. He was the former head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, and I believe his debut is tonight, if I am not mistaken. So we'll see if he can turn around the Devils. Do you have anything for the NHL, Chad? I know...
Dude, the Avs won last night 5-0. They've been
They
whooping
did.
up on the Blackhawks. I mean, the Blackhawks are good.
Blackhawks. They
but-
played them like 2 times in the
Yeah.
last week and kicked their ass both
And I
times.
think they put up 5 goals each time, too.
Yeah, and Connor Bedard, don't get me wrong, that dude's going to be really good, but they have a really bad team around him, and the Avs were just basically playing with him last night. So it was like at one point, it's just like, it's just fuck around.
It's funny. I love it, man. I love it.
Do you have anything you said, or just that?
No,
you
that's
just want to bring that up?
it.
Okay,
Just wanted
cool.
to bring that up.
So I'm going to go down the top team in each division, and we'll start now that we're back, getting a little bit more into this as the NFL is again winding down as we wait for the draft. But in the Eastern Conference, the Florida Panthers are in first in the Atlantic Division, 62 games played, 42 wins, 16 losses, 4 overtime losses for a grand total of 88 points. Moving to the Metropolitan Division, we have the New York Rangers, 40 wins, 18 losses, 4 overtime losses for a grand total of 84 points. And moving into the Western Conference, the Central Division, the Winnipeg Jets, 39 wins, 16 losses, 5 overtime losses for a grand total of 83 points. And moving to the Pacific Division, we have the Vancouver Canucks, 39 wins, 17 losses, 7 overtime losses for a grand total of 85 points. So the Florida Panthers now are the best team in the league. It was the Canucks, but they have knocked them off of that throne for the time being. And we are in crunch time in both the NBA and the NHL. So things are going to start ironing out in terms of playoff positions and all that stuff. So we're right in the thick of it. Into the thick of it.
Well, on the other side, there's a sport where it just begun.
Oh, my God.
Let's hear it.
Give me 1 second. I wasn't ready.
I know.
But I'm ready now.
Cut you off guard.
Chad's getting good at the segues. He caught me. I was just like,
That's what I do. I
He's
segue around. Like George Bush. Remember that clip? He fell off of it. That shit was
He
funny, dude.
crashed. Well, it started. The F1 season has begun, and Bahrain was the first Grand Prix of the year. And Max Verstappen and Red Bull continue their utter dominance of all things F1 with a 22.45 second win over his teammate Sergio Perez, who finished in second in the same car ahead of Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari, who finished in third. So,
And he's the last guy that's ever won
yeah,
aside from Red Bull.
yeah,
Yeah, I think they said something. It was like, I don't want to say how many days it was, but it was a long fucking time.
yeah. I now think that is 55 wins for Max Verstappen, but all things are not shiny and
Yeah,
good in the
trouble in
world
paradise.
of Red Bull. Chad, do you want to start it off?
Yeah, I think you were telling me about how the team, not president,
Principal, yeah.
I guess the principal of school or
Yeah,
something. I don't know why they call him
Christian Horner.
that. Yep.
He's
He's
in
in
some
some
trouble.
controversy.
Controversy.
Exactly. And apparently it involves a woman for the team, some
Yeah.
text messages,
Some text messages,
and
some
some power
misconduct.
struggles.
Yeah.
Yeah, people wanting ownership and not getting it and stuff. And then Max Verstappen's dad is
Yeah,
mad.
you got a mad dad involved, and
Yep.
that's never good. You don't want a mad dad. But yeah, Verstappen's dad basically came out publicly and said he wants Christian Horner to step down as team principal following the leak of documents involved in the ongoing misconduct investigation. Like Chad mentioned, it involves somebody, a female member of the team, which if I started watching that Braun.
Did you? I
dude,
told you to. Yeah, I told you it was going to be good.
It's 700 people were on that team. So 700
Holy
people are on an
shit.
F1 team. That's what they said in
That
that.
doesn't even make sense.
In the whole F1 division, there were 700 people, and that's what they were saying. They went and won that race and had to come back and then fire half of them.
Wow.
So if you haven't yet, I'm going to pull this up real quick because I did pull it up.
What, Braun?
Braun, the Impossible Formula One story.
Really fascinating. Keanu Reeves narrates it, which is great.
Yeah.
And is a big part of like the whole documentary.
He's like doing all the interviews
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
cool.
It is very interesting, but I just found that today and I was like, there's a lot of people involved. So he was Christian Horner, who's also a big part of this documentary as Red Bull was beginning its dominance then. But they were beat out by this team, which used to be Honda, that then became like a basic privateer team that ended up beating all of the top dogs, which is something that would never happen right now. As you can see with Red Bull, nobody can touch them.
Yeah, 22-second win. That's just ridiculous.
That's what we might have to cut down our F1 coverage if Verstappen just keeps winning. It's we're just gonna get a board and just put like a win.
Dude, that'd be funny. Just again, here we go. I mean, could you imagine 22 seconds? I mean, I know it's an exaggeration and a hyperbole, but like, you think that after he won, he's just sitting there with some tea or something and just been like, where were you guys?
Yeah,
I've been
pretty
waiting here."
much. He's just like, his feet are all just kicked up. Like,
Already out the door chilling.
He's
Like,
all showered.
Dude, what the fuck, man? Dominating.
Yeah, and that's what we're saying. Like, even his own teammate that's the one he beat by that much. So there were a lot of people saying like maybe Verstappen should go to another team just to prove that he's that good and go beat Red Bull. But
That would be wild.
it would be wild. But
I hope not.
So yeah, we'll see what's going on there. Like Chad mentioned, there's a little bit of a power struggle going on. Horner did. It sounds like he wants to become part owner. And I don't know. It doesn't sound like Max Verstappen's dad's very happy with that. And then after this leak happened, things are getting a little bit messy. So we'll see what happens. There's also an investigation. The FIA, which is the governing body.
I did see this.
The president of the FIA, Mohammed bin Salouyem, allegedly intervened to overturn a penalty given to Fernando Alonso at last year's Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And a second BBC report says the same whistleblower also claims that he told officials not to certify the Las Vegas circuit for its high-profile race in November. So we'll see. I don't know. There's some controversy going on in the FIA. And
there's always people trying to cheat in F1. So...
But it's not good when the governing body is doing things. You know, that's when it gets bad. But that is going to do it for F1, and that means it is time for our favorite part of the show, when Mr. John Daly hits it hard, man.
Let's go to Hooters.
I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing, it's a natural fact. I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, live at large. I hit it hard.
That's right. We are hitting it hard to end the show. As always, it is the daily dose of excellence. And this week, we are featuring the greatest college basketball player, man or woman,
That's what I was going to say.
of all time.
Of all time.
Caitlin Clark. Jinx, Cokes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
You owe me a bag of Coke?
Oh, okay.
I thought that's the way of saying it. Right?
Yeah. That was counting in grams. But yeah, Iowa's Caitlin Clark, who we all know last year when we were, in the throes of the podcast. Her and what's her name right now? I can't think
Angel
of it.
Reese.
Angel Reese were dueling back and forth when Iowa and LSU were playing for the Final Four championship, and they brought college basketball, at least in terms of the women's side, into the forefront and into the limelight. And Caitlin Clark has continued it as she is now the NCAA's all-time leading scorer. She did this on Sunday as she closes out her final season with the Hawkeyes in a game against Ohio State. I said Iowa State, where she's at. Ohio State.
So if anybody's ever heard of Pistol Pete,
Pistol Pete
legend
Maravich.
in the NBA, he was also an icon in college basketball. Just imagine a good, and I didn't realize this, but I mean, it just makes sense. This is before threes. So Pistol Pete did this before threes were even a thing. That's kind of the asterisk.
This
that
is
you
how
put to
Caitlin Clark did it, is with threes.
Yeah, with logo threes. But to give you a little background on Pete Maravich, maybe one of the best point guards of all time. He was called Pistol Pete because of how fast he was. He averaged. I was going to give you this little background. If a college player, let's say KU's playing tonight, if Hunter Dickinson scores 22 points, that's a decent game. That's average. Pistol Pete back in the day with no threes averaged 45 points a game.
Which is nuts.
That's just insane. And he only played 3 years.
And you're talking where they barely score 80 points a game if you're lucky.
He's scoring 3/4 of the points every night. And I lost it. I lost my train of thought. I was just and he only played 3 years in college.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Caitlin Clark has played. This is her 4th year. And I just wanted to run over these. It's just what she's doing is insane. I was talking about this with Dan today. I was like, I don't know how to say this without I'm just ignorant. I was like, most times you don't, even in the WNBA, you don't see these women shooting logo threes. It's just not a common occurrence. And I was like, how is she doing this? Like, I can't, even guys like Steph Curry, it's nuts that like guys can even shoot that far and make it look simple without even leaving your feet that much. Well, I'm watching her play. I've watched like 3 or 4 of her games this year. She has legs like a running back. Dude, she has hamstrings that are just solid. And that's when it occurred to me. I was like, that's why she's able to make these threes. It's her power. Her power stance, dude. It all comes from her legs.
Power legs.
Yep. And just to go over a few bullet points to cover her accomplishments just over the course of this last year. She signed with Gatorade. Had her number put on Iowa's court after she beat the women's record.
With the logo 3.
With the logo 3. It was like right next to the logo.
Yeah.
Became Fanatics' top-selling NIL athlete. Sold out every game she's played in. Broken the NCAA women's scoring record and now men's scoring record since Sunday.
Yep.
And now she's officially declared for the WNBA draft. It's a given.
She's the first pick.
The Indiana Fever have the first pick. That's a very small market team in the WNBA, but I would love to see her turn that team into a big market team.
Yeah, we're seeing it now. They're adding expansion teams in WNBA. It's getting bigger and better, and like with Sabrina Ionesco going up against Steph at the All-Star game.
Cool. Yep.
You're seeing a lot more of the WNBA coming a little bit more to the forefront. They've got a long ways to go to even remotely touch the NBA, but with girls like Sabrina and Caitlin.
You got Juju Watkins at USC. Yeah. You got Paige Beckers at UConn. South Carolina. That team, that is a squad.
The whole team is.
I would put your money on South Carolina to win the whole thing. It's amazing. I love watching these women's college basketball games because of the effort they put into it.
She did enter her last regular season game, which is the game that happened on Sunday. She was 17 points shy of Pistol Pete's record of 3,667 points. She passed the record, which has stood since 1970 with the free throw towards the end of the first half. As Chad mentioned, she sells out all of her games. Ticket prices for the record-setting game against Ohio State skyrocketed as people lined up to watch Clark make history on senior night. Ticketing platform Logitix reported an average ticket price of $598 for the game.
Yep. She's drawing numbers.
Yeah,
she's drawing. This is
Iowa women's basketball game. That's nuts.
And it's crazy because Iowa's always been
a football game.
That's what I was about to say. Is like they've always been really good with football. Their wrestling program is really what's notorious at Iowa.
Isn't that where Lesnar came from?
No, I can't remember where Lesnar came from. I don't know.
Maybe I can't remember.
I want to say it was up north.
It's like Minnesota or something.
But just a little side note, Caitlin Clark is a Chiefs fan.
Boo! I hate her now.
So she's obviously she's a champion.
Boo!
Yep. But hats off to her. I mean, what she's doing right now is unprecedented. I remember being in high school watching Diana Taurasi and what Gino did with UConn. And, I mean, you can't really compare the two. Both of them. Caitlin Clark hasn't won a national championship yet, so it's not. She doesn't have that notch on her belt yet. But what she's doing as far as like growing the sport, it's unprecidented. So hats off to her. This shot is dedicated to her, and I'd say John Daly would certainly approve. That was a loud bang.
It was.
That was a good one.
We need to add some weights to this thing or get a new table. Yeah. But cheers to Caitlin Clark. You are the DDOE of episode 73.
Yep.
Cheers to you. And cheers to you, sir.
It's good to be back.
Good to be
Back and rolling. All right, we'll see you guys next week. And thanks again to Farzin. Appreciate you coming on. We look forward to having you back on soon.
Yeah, thank you, Farzin. We appreciate it, man. We will be in touch, and we will have you back soon. Everybody, we love you guys. If you haven't yet, go like, share, subscribe, and follow.
Share it.
All things French Fanatics. We'll be back next week, episode 74.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.